Star 1978, Star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. I'm in Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken for me. Anyhow, I've got on this television, this is what they think weather means. It's temperature, it's really just temperature, and is it going to rain or not outside? Is it going to be cloudy? Is it going to be sunny? And how hot is it going to be when I walk outside? That's it. That's what weather, WEATHER, means to this version of dumb, fucking, and useless humans. In New York, anyway. I don't know about the educated elsewhere. So when the news media puts on the weather report, that's what everybody, and that's what I've assumed my whole life. I'm like, I really don't see the purpose in this, but whatever.
Mix of clouds, and then
They have on
to the forecast
now
for your weekend.
A conversation about climate change, which is the most important topic that nobody in New York talks about, ever, except if they're getting paid on television. Only time. They have no vested interest. They don't give a shit. Climate change doesn't make money when you want to fix it. That usually means that they're losing money according to the criminal enterprise everywhere.
See you later,
They'll engage with you, but only so far, because they got to watch their bottom line and their profits. That's why bullets work faster. Just saying. Oh, where did this go? Hang on. All right, here it is.
Healing in a Divided World is published by an imprint of Simon & Schuster, which is a division of Viacom CBS. The scientist's name is Katharine Hayhoe. She's the author, and she points out that more than half of U.S. adults are concerned about climate change, but only a third of us ever talk about it.
Half of us are concerned. Really? What half is that? Because I have 2 adults in my house, couldn't give 2 shits. They don't even think it's real. They could you ask them, what does climate change mean to you? And they're like, I don't know, it gets hotter. The ice caps are melting. I'll be dead, like, before it'll be my grandchildren's problem. Wow, thanks for the motivation there, parents. Thanks for the inherited intel to save my own ass and my kids while I'm here. Wow. And then they give them a right to vote on what? Making things worse? Because it's what it feels like.
She says her goal is to change that.
You might think all this extreme weather, fueled by runaway global warming, accompanied by endless warnings from scientists and activists,
How dare you?
celebrities, and world leaders,
We have reached the tipping point on the need for climate action.
We don't even get any of those broadcasts in my demographic. For some reason, they left me out of this conversation incomplete. I know there's people that are trying to take steps and trying to be helpful. I just would have no idea how to find them. I've been actively waiting here, waiting for the life that I was set and destined for, and clandestined for, before somebody rewrote my entire script and took all of the things I was supposed to be part of and just tossed me aside. And, like, I had no other way of defending myself, so catfish was all I could do. And, like, look for signs, but, like, there really aren't any. Because there has not been people coming to alert me and to, like, connect me with people of importance and people who are involved in this and people where I could be a part of a better solution. It's just been, I go out to make some kind of whatever, to put clothes on myself and, like, participate, but then it's catfish. Because I don't have any other choice. And I live in New York, where criminal enterprise is a scary fucking endeavor. When you're not protected normally by the police. There's some kind of like community agreement, but only if you stay within like, and that's why I just stay quiet. I don't say anything. I'm not getting involved in the local whatever.
Is also a big talker for people at home. But
Fig tree, red handkerchief. He belongs somewhere. His mom named him that. And then there's the CD-ROMs just dangling from a fig tree.
Most people just don't usually get into it.
Have you ever in your
AIDS
life
of some sort? I just don't know
started a
who.
conversation intentionally with someone else about the issue of climate change?
I'll be honest, I probably haven't.
The question,
Right.
of course,
See,
is
that's
why,
the local-
if climate change
I have no idea.
threatens all of us, shouldn't all of us be talking about it?
Most people are worried about this.
Catherine Hayhoe is a prominent, you might even say famous, climatologist at Texas Tech University.
So in her world, it's the most important topic ever. And like everybody knows a little something. Hate to tell you, I live in the real world, not in like I got somewhere in life. And my people have no fucking clue. They don't know what your job function is. They have no idea what you know. It's not like a transferable, like if you talk about it and you teach them, the animals around me can learn. However, we don't really get exposed to whatever lifestyle it is you've been living.
Who studies not only the climate, but the conversation around it.
I mean, if one more person tells you about a starving polar bear or a melting iceberg or rising sea levels, you're just like, what am I supposed to do? I'm just one person. I'm not like the president or...
Yeah, and when you're in New York, they're like, I really don't have time for this. Do you know how much my rent is, my car payment, my shitty life that I have to get up and I'm fucking stuck in every day? I'm just curious.
CEO or anything.
What you're supposed to do, Hayhoe argues, the most important thing any of us can do, is the one thing so many of us have been avoiding. We have to talk about it.
You think regular people can start a revolution on this by having conversations in their community?
I think that's the only way a revolution has ever started.
To see how she does it without devolving into politics or argument, we started some conversations of our own.
For me, I feel like this world ain't gonna survive long. All right, well, I just want to bring in Catherine
Not gonna
right now.
survive long,
We asked
my kind of
Hayhoe
guy.
to take over.
Did you know that 90 companies are responsible for 2/3 of the whole global warming problem since the beginning of the industrial era?
90 companies responsible for, since the industrial era, for climate change. 90. No, actually, thank you for that statistic. I had no idea. It makes sense. I just don't know what their names are, who's running them, how to get involved. There's no like real entry point for like when you want to make a change. They seem to block that off and withhold that information from like the good people in the world.
We noticed that while
He didn't know it
Hayhoe was
either.
often
Look at
full of
that.
facts,
You know how many people die every year because of air pollution? Almost 9 million. Really?
her first move wasn't to lecture, but to listen.
They didn't know either. But you know what they do know? They know what number song the VMAs were in their Barclays Center in Brooklyn. I mean, it is like to live at this precipice of human in New York is so painful.
Listen.
You see changes in weather patterns, but they don't happen as close to home.
When she did jump in, it wasn't with global data, but local issues.
Here's the thing, if we live in Texas, we're getting hit hardest of any state. We get the hurricanes, the floods, the heat, even the crazy winter storm that we had. It was worse because of the Arctic warming so fast. Right here in Irving, you know, the Rangers, they had to build them a new stadium that they could close the roof on to air condition it because it was too hot for people to...
Hold on there, smarty pants. What's a Ranger? Because in New York, a Ranger is a hockey team. And hockey is a Canadian sport, is all I know. I don't know what a Ranger is. I've seen on TV, there's a wool suit, wool-valised gentleman with special forces on his arm Said Special Forces Ranger underneath it. But I only learned about that in the year 2021 because I've never seen something like him before.
And in conversation after conversation, Hey-Ho kept the focus on solutions.
Texas is #1 in wind energy. We're #1.
Reminding people that while the challenges may seem overwhelming,
Wind energy. What the hell does that have to do with the tea in China? Just curious. That's a dumb global statistic. I mean, it does have prowess in traction in certain finger paint communities, but
Perspective, it doesn't seem like much, regular humans can really do about it.
America does have a pretty good track record of getting it right eventually.
150 years ago, women couldn't vote. And then, 70 years ago, there's civil rights.
right, and then they added the women to the already complicated equation. It was hard when you had a man who had one vote and the whole family clan met together and then put their vote in together. And then all of a sudden you wanted to take that already degraded, like hard to control system and you wanted to add more numbers to it. Why? What the hell is the difference?
And all of that changed. How did it change? It changed.
Oh, and over the last 150 years, just so we're clear, it's gotten worse.
And they started saying,
Broken a whole lot more, it's a lot
"Here's the way
hotter.
the world should be. The world has to be different."
And speaking of different,
We started this conversation with you telling me that the world was essentially doomed.
Pretty much is.
But what's the first step to getting the other?
It's one of my starlings. Somewhere in the world, I know they exist.
Conversation changed you in any way?
Yeah, I mean, I
They're like, oh, you happy-go-lucky, shitty, like, crappy person. Right, yeah, what are you selling now? Because I see the world, and it really fucking sucks. I'll listen, but I'm not buying any of this shit you've been peddling.
I'd be more vocal to it. I want to spread the awareness.
There you go, you did it, Catherine. There's one. So Catherine has actually had a lot more than one. Like she travels the country and has given thousands of lectures and had thousands of conversations with people about climate change and wakes people up to the issue. And actually what I love about the book is it's kind of a user's guide to help other people go and do the very same thing. Although I also have to say
There
my
is a
experience-
better and more effective way. It's just at the moment, that situation's been broken as well. Don't find these kinds of things out in like really important places until the whole back half of the planet just blows out and then they're like, yeah, we just found out. We got to the end and now we gotta come back to this part and then work our way in with a solution and hope that we get it right. Right. So why do I have to stick around? Because, like, I really don't. I mean, like, you've ignored me the entire time and punished me so horrifically by PSI pressure gauge being off and nobody really giving a fuck and then making it like I had a mental issue, right? But you do see what's pushing the mental disease. They're making up words. They're making defenses of themselves in some social guerrilla war tactic that's coming up from the guerrillas in the mist of guerreras elsewhere and Platanos and whatnot, by foot and boat and whatever. And then thereby words and large funded criminal enterprise trying to make everybody else buy their drugs and make everybody else feel like they're crazy. I said to Anthony before, I was like, it's really disgusting. I was like, because I'm sitting here and all I hear are the white kids are hooked on drugs. They're in drug rehabs. They've had very little education and opportunity, like Aunt. And then I'm like, so they're already in a weakened state. And now I've got people, I heard this guy this morning in Spanish, he's like, we've got a lot of heart and we're very motivated. That's really fucking scary when you know that where you're living, the kids are hooked on the drugs they already sent up and got the kids hooked on. and then steal all the opportunity and weaken your people before they started walking to then come up and somehow they have some set jobs and housing already waiting for them. They just like walk right over the white kids, and the white kids are like, did you bring any drugs with you when you were on your way? I mean, like, that's how disgusting New York society feels on Long Island at the moment. I mean, like, I can't talk about the rest of the country, but I'm looking around and listening to, like, some of the white kids that, like, I come out, I'll listen to your testimony, and then I go back to my, because I don't want to catch it. I'll hang out and drink for a night, but then I want to go home because I don't want to catch it. That's the way that I've lived amongst your humans. Is I come out, I'll act like I'm on a scene of a movie for a one-night appearance only, and then I'm going home. Because I really haven't found anything I enjoy in the human section of whatever this is. Just to be honest. *1978, *8378, Nicole Cattaruzza.